Let's get going for Brian Gawley, Smart Investing Solutions. Arash Madani right there. Let's get into baseball right off the hop. Now, ton of baseball players who move the needle nationally anymore. Like, I know Ohtani, I know him, I know Aaron Judge, right. Vlad. Bryce Harper is a name. He's been around a while. I know that name. He's not too happy with the commissioner of Major League Baseball.
Well, he's not at all, and there's a deep kind of underbelly to all this. But yeah, Harper's as recognizable as they come. I mean, Barney, back when Sports Illustrated was relevant, Bryce Harper was on the cover of SI as a 15-year-old high schooler. He was the number one overall pick in the draft. He's been one of the faces of Major League Baseball. And Colson, why don't we run this tweet for those of you watching on the stream, and I'll run the audio or explain the audio of it. Essentially this. Yesterday, the commissioner of baseball had come into the Philadelphia Phillies locker room, and Bryce Harper got right in his face and told him to, quote, get the bleep out of our clubhouse, close quote, if he wanted to talk about a salary cap. Now imagine that. Imagine the scene that must have been in the Phillies locker room when the face of your franchise and one of the faces of the league gets right in the commissioner's face, Barney, and tells them to get the bleep out of here.
What, amazing. Is there more to this? Is it salary cap? Why?
Yeah, so the underbelly of all this is that at the end of next season, baseball's collective bargaining agreement expires. The belief that many have is that a work stoppage is ahead, because baseball can't get out of its own way. Of course, they're going to have a work stoppage. And that the contentious issue here is going to be the owners are hell-bent on getting a salary cap. And that Manfred, the commissioner, is kind of going around all these different teams and wanting to talk to the players. He's brought a couple of retired guys on board, including CC Sabathia, not to be part of the players union, but be part of the league and go around and spread the gospel. So this is almost like the undercard to the main event. You know, it's Harper v. Manfred before it's PA and union versus league. And it's kind of setting up for what's going to be blah ahead.
So real chance, or what do you, if we were wagering on this, chances that we could see a work stoppage in baseball at the end of next season?
I just don't trust Major League Baseball and its owners. Because they have continued to show, Barney, they can't see the forest from the trees. Like, okay, and to me, this is case in point. 2020, COVID year, there was an opportunity for baseball to be the first league by about a month to get started before anybody else, before the bubble for hockey, before the NBA thing down in Florida. And they would have had a captive audience. Remember how, like, desperate for sports we were by the 4th of July?
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
And they would have had themselves for a month and nothing else, and they could have brought a lot of people back to the sport. And the owners were nickeling and diming over such minor things to get little wins over the players, and they missed a huge opportunity. So... yeah, I think there's a real chance. I think there's a real chance of a work stoppage coming up.
Let's go to the CFL. And I mentioned this yesterday. I said Arash has been saying that Chad Kelly isn't week to week. Like, this is going to be a long time, if not the full season. We're pushing into August here, and now the Argos have him on a 6-gamer.
Now he's on the 6-game injured list. And I think there's something fishy. There's something fishy that's been going on with the 6-game injured list this season, Barney.
A little bit.
Because only a week or two ago, Davis Alexander was put on there. Guys who should have been on the 6-game earlier weren't put on. I want to try and get to the bottom of that. But effectively what the Argos have now done is said Chad Kelly is out until at least the middle of September. Now, remember, that was a serious injury in November that required him needing surgery in Montreal. He couldn't fly, et cetera, et cetera. So apparently he's been on the practice field, and he hasn't been able to do much from a push-off standpoint, from a burst standpoint, really being able to scramble standpoint. None of that he's been able to do that. And you start to kind of think and wonder, okay, like what now? Mid-September, do you try and get him back into the mix? He can practice a week or two before. If the Argos are in the conversation, Toronto's not very good. Their team's not very good. Their roster isn't very good. But the East also, who knows what's going to happen with it? Montreal's quarterback is on the 6th game. Hamilton's rolling right now. So from the start of the season, I thought there was a real chance Chad could miss the whole year, and we'll see where that goes.
Ottawa, coming out of a bye week, we're going to see big changes. Heads are going to roll. We got that, and nothing. Bubkiss.
Nothing. And I thought something was going to happen. Sometimes in these scenarios, you're 1-6, you're dreadful. You're not playing well at home. The attendance is down. Sometimes, Barney, you just have to make an optics move.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say have to. Not have to. Sometimes teams just make optics moves. Ottawa didn't. And I think part of it is, what do you do that's going to change things and make it better? Because if you can't fire the GM right now, because the whole roster is in flux and who's going to take over. If you fire the offensive coordinator, honestly, who on the staff is going to call plays? If you fire the head coach, you're just with this idiotic staff cap, you're just going to be spreading responsibilities, and head coaching isn't the issue here. So I guess they'll just exhaust this as long as they're going to, and then maybe if they're mathematically eliminated, that's when changes come. Oh. But I get why there wasn't a move, because I don't think, quote unquote, one move was going to fix everything, or anything, rather.
It's safe to say that the Rider game in Montreal Saturday is the game of the week?
Game of the year.
I don't know.
Game of the year. Like, honestly. Your Alouettes,
Bethel Thompson's involved in the game of the year?
Hey, your Alouettes, they covered against the Stamps. They came through against the Stamps.
I took them on the money line, baby. I took them on the money line.
What would that have been? Plus 175, or was there a 2 involved in there?
I'd have to go back and look.
Yeah.
Because I took Hamilton money line in BC on Sunday night.
Very nice. Yeah. Very nice.
But then I took the Riders to cover 8.
There you go. Look, that Hamilton BC game, wasn't that electric, by the way?
It's good football.
I mean, that was as good a CFL game as we've probably seen in 2 or 3 years, honestly. It had everything. It had the defensive play of the year, if not the decade. And I saw Mullender made a tweet, or put up a tweet about this, saying that's the best catch that he's ever seen. And he had a Ben Cahoon in there, and he had
that he's witnessed live.
Ron Carter, I think, in 2017. He's at the 3 best catches he's seen in the CFL. And the point I was making about it, Barney, is that that tweet from Luke shows so much respect for S.J. Green, because S.J. Green just made one ridiculous grab after another over and over again in his career, and we just got so used to it. It was almost like it was part of the furniture. That you're saying to yourself, okay, well, I guess that's not that impressive because we just keep seeing it all the time.
Colson and I talked about this in hour 1, and I feel like it was Calgary. Let's buy, where everyone's buying Calgary stock. Everyone's buying Calgary stock. Montreal goes in and beats them, and then it's like, Chikai. Okay, Saskatchewan again. And now it's Hamilton. And we're going into August here, and it's going to move again. And I don't know who's going to come out of the wood. Is it going to be someone's going to go on a run? I can't see it being BC. Who knows? I can't see it being Winnipeg, but who knows? And then Montreal, right? Toronto beats Winnipeg. I feel it's like
Barney,
the roller coaster ride.
Barney. I get it. When you're so close to it in the market, you look at the flaws that your team has and say, well, these are the reasons that I'm concerned. These are the reasons I'm worried. The best team in the league right now is Saskatchewan. In large part because they're the healthiest team at the most important position, and overall they're pretty healthy. I still think they should upgrade the running back position.
I agree.
And if somehow they could, from a non-playoff team, upgrade their offensive line with a move, do it. But a lot of people, especially living in Toronto, a lot of people are coming to me saying, okay, well, the Jays issue is this and this and this. I'm like, you realize that every other team has warts and every other team has issues and no real other team in the big leagues is that good right now. I look around right now and I'm saying to myself, hey, the Riders can get better. They can improve over the next 5-6 weeks by upgrading their roster. But if there's a team that you don't want to play in November, nobody wants to come to Regina in those conditions and play. So I hear what you're saying. This can all shift. But the Riders are pretty good. Let's not lose sight of that.
Oh, I think hosting the West Final is so key on so many fronts, along with financially. It is, if they can get the West Final here. But the injuries are and I know we're not alone, and it's contact sport and other teams are dealing with it. We are under the microscope here. But it's just the injuries at some point got to stop. Knock on wood with everything else right now. Speaking of the Blue Jays, at what point do they call a game because it feels like 48 at 2 p.m. in Baltimore?
I thought I saw 52 with the Humidex. So
come on now.
So three hottest places in baseball: Atlanta, Baltimore, Kansas City. I remember we were in KC, and Cito Gaston and Pat Tabler were talking about when they played in KC in the old days of the AstroTurf. Which was basically concrete with a little layer of green carpet over it. It would get so hot they had to keep moving in the outfield, otherwise their shoes would melt while they're standing in the outfield, and then they'd come into the dugout. And this is the old days, right? It's not like you have this great shoe technology or anything like that. There'd be buckets of ice water, and the boys would put their shoe, they put their feet into the buckets of ice water between innings. That's how it went. So I have been on some hot afternoons in Baltimore. I get it.
Okay. Let's wrap on this tennis thing that I saw. You had a 30-minute conversation with Andy Roddick yesterday.
Yeah. Really cool. Unfiltered. This guy has all the opinions. Mm-hmm. And here's what's interesting, Barney. I was asking him, I'm like, look, man, tennis hasn't been cool in a while. What does tennis need to do? And the more Roddick talked, I'm like, man, he's talking about the tennis world, like the CFL, about how do you get to young audiences? How do you get into their socials? How do you make it big part of their pop culture? How as a sport are you going to do that? You need the young players in the game, the superstars, to really kind of connect with fans. And now tennis has that with Alcaraz and Sinner, and on the women's side with Coco Gauff. I thought Roddick's point was really interesting. He said, kids these days are into players more than teams. They're into what's cool over watching full games. So how can you get bite-sized content into the hands, literally on the devices of young people, where they're going to connect with somebody who fits a pop culture? Somehow the CFL has to enter the pop culture vibe and dynamic, and we'll see how that can happen.
I've talked to people that know the children children brain way better than us. It's exactly what they say, but they say good luck. And getting the kids to watch anything 3 hours, let alone a tennis match for 5 hours. Don't look any further than the Savannah Bananas.
Sure. But I'm telling you, if there's a way that just market that interception in BC to the gills and like find ways to get these people into the next time there's a big stadium, there's a big concert at the stadium, get some of the young rider players out there on stage with the performer, get them interacting with whomever. The Weeknd just played at the ballpark in Toronto. It's a shame that there couldn't be 3 Argos on stage there, up there with them. Think about the instant credibility that would provide, for instance.
Blue Rodeo's here tomorrow. Let's get Trevor Harris and AJ Ouellette up there for We Are Lost Together and watch the kids flock. Watch. You know what? There's so much talk around the CFL right now. Everybody's saying that's what the league needs. It's all this talk is going to bring. So let's just watch the data in 7 months if all this talk moves it. Data doesn't lie. Yeah. We'll check it out. Yeah. Okay, buddy. Let's catch up Thursday, and we'll go from there. I want to find some pictures of those burning shoes. That'd be cool to see.
I wonder who has some Kodak film left over from those days.
Oh, yeah, we got Willie Jefferson, the hit. Did you hear about anything on the fine to Willie Jefferson?
No. I didn't. Okay. I tried to ask around. I didn't get much. I was surprised it was a max fine, by the way, on the hit on Drew Brown. I thought it would be a suspension, but it wasn't.
All right, we'll catch up Thursday, Arash. See you later, bud.